Hey guys, I think it's time for some raw, unfiltered, unedited thoughts on how the final event of the SCC Speed Chess Championship went in Paris, France, where Magnus Carlsen obviously was the winner, and he destroyed both Hans Niemann and Alireza Firouzja. And there was one more player prominent in this event, Hikaru Nakamura, who clashed with Alireza, lost that match, but won against Hans Niemann. There are many topics to discuss, and they are of importance for the chess world, so stay tuned. I will provide some insights on what's next, what happens next to everyone, to the chess drama, to the Hans versus Magnus story, etc., etc. So first of all, let's cover the Hans versus Magnus match and so-called, I don't know, was it a resolution of their feud or like maybe next step? Let's discuss this. So first of all, there was this scandalous interview by Niemann. Interviewer was Levi Rosman, aka Gotham Chess. I really love this guy because he asked some uncomfortable questions, and this was the content that we were all waiting for. Regardless of whether you are a Niemann fan or a Niemann hater, definitely this is great content. One of the best pieces of content about chess recently, in my opinion. And Niemann was very aggressive in that interview. He attacked Levy, he tried to humiliate him. I don't like this kind of behavior, but it was very fun to watch. And of course, he had some big words come out of his mouth, like he will destroy Magnus. This did not happen. The match with Magnus showed that, as Magnus himself said, that they are not at the same level, at least yet. Maybe Hans will improve further, but Magnus it was never in doubt that Magnus will win. So in this aspect, we have gotten the battle that we all, or maybe most of us, were waiting for. The chess spoke for itself. On the one hand, I'm very excited that this happened, and I was watching the match, and this was top entertainment, better than any UFC fight or any Hollywood blockbuster. On the other hand, it feels a bit underwhelming because we did not see the crazy level that Niemann has demonstrated in other tournaments recently, in other matches like winning against MVL and Wesley. This was a different Niemann. And this is not insinuating anything. I understand the nerves, everything played a role probably. He was too hyped for the event. Also, many of you in the comments to my video on Niemann said that he's a streaky player. Sometimes he does well, sometimes he does badly. Some people draw conclusions that this means there is something fishy, but most people just say that this is like normal. There are streaky players. So I guess this was not a good day for him, and he also lost to Hikaru in a even more brutal fashion. So probably he was not on a roll during those matches, and this is a pity because I wanted to see the top form Hans. I wanted to see them go toe-to-toe. That would have been the most legendary chess match maybe of modern history, but we did not get that. I hope that there are many more matches to come, and I hope that Hans manages his chess psychology better. Maybe he should watch my podcast with Arjun Erigaisi, where Arjun explains how to be more focused and more calm during a chess game. Check out, the link is in the description. Great podcast episode. Maybe it's not humble to praise yourself, but I'm praising mostly Arjun. He's a great guest. So maybe Hans will work on this and will come back stronger. And an important piece of information that we all learned in the interviews after the matches is the fact that apparently Hans has been invited to the freestyle chess 960 or Fischer random chess or freestyle chess as they call it nowadays. So he has been invited to the series of events in this relatively new format of chess, which is organized by Magnus Carlsen and Jan Büttner. They are two co-founders of this project. So this is impressive. So now you remember those times when Magnus refused to play Hans. He said, I will never play a person who has been proven to have cheated in the past. Something like that he said. I might misquote him, but the essence of his words was this. And now he invites this guy. So probably this is about business. This is about money. These guys, I mean, Magnus and Jan Butner, they're both good businessmen, and they know that Hans is a controversial guy who draws clicks, attention, views, everything. So they have put a lot of money on the line, like $12 million, I think, for this prize fund for this series of freestyle chess events. So they want to get the bang for the bucks, as they say, I think. So they want to get media attention, and they want Hans, the bad boy of chess, to be playing. This is impressive. I really love this decision by Magnus and the team. I guess Magnus should have approved of this, otherwise it would not have happened. So this is impressive. And also Niemann said in some interviews that he has now been invited to some closed invitational tournaments. Might be mistaken, but I think it's one in Armenia. So yeah, this is cool. So he's playing more and more. Nobody like ostracizes him. I think it's good. It's good for the chess, for us all to have such a controversial personality, because otherwise, you know, chess is just two guys moving pieces over the board. We need some drama, we need some hype. This is emotions. Life is short. We only live once. We need to live a fulfilled life full of emotions. And yes, there are good and bad sides of emotions. And yes, Hans, for some people, is associated with the bad emotions. I personally, I'm happy to see him play. He's an interesting guy. I don't like the way he behaves, but like his interview with Levy was not in good taste, in my opinion, but whatever. He has probably learned some of the lessons, because in a later interview with Daniel Naroditsky, with Danya, actually another guest of my podcast, by the way, so Danya was very professional, and Hans was very polite. So maybe he learned some of his lessons, started being more respectful. And he said that let's finish all this nonsense, all this drama, let the chess speak for itself. And I can agree with that, of course. The chess will speak. Also, another important thing is that Magnus is still the GOAT. And this is great. We live in the time when there is such an amazing chess player who can destroy Alireza Firouzja in his top form. You remember Alireza first destroyed Hikaru Nakamura very impressively. Everybody was saying, wow, Alireza is in great shape. Before that, Alireza won 2 tournaments in a row. He won in St. Louis the Rapid and Blitz event, and then he won the classical event, and he won the Grand Chess Tour. So he was on a roll. Before that, he won some other tournaments this year. He won the Bullet Chess Championship, for example. He was not like the underdog, but Magnus destroyed him like he was like, I don't know, out of his league. And this is so impressive to see. I remember watching Roger Federer play tennis in his prime, but even then he was not as dominant. Maybe Nadal on clay was as dominant in his prime. I don't know. Maybe Messi when he plays when he was in his prime, and he played some also good teams, but not football players of his caliber. Maybe this is what you feel when you see the GOAT play football or any other. Maybe now Djokovic, but he's also not in his prime. So I cannot name somebody dominate as much as Magnus does. Maybe in swimming, Michael Phelps. This is a good example. Sorry about the lamp. Probably there are some ghosts. Let me turn it off. This is weird. Haunted house. I live in the mountains in Almaty, Kazakhstan. It's nice here. Come to visit. So Magnus, I love him. I love his chess, and it's great that we got to see him play some of the best chess that he has shown. And of course, Hikaru is a big topic, because he said that he wants to give way to the young generation, and that he wants to retire from those events. We will see. Maybe he was just upset after losing to Alireza. I hope we will see him, because he's not that old. He's what, 36, I think. So not that old. Korchnoi played competitive chess until he was in his 70s or 80s. So I think this is an example that I want Hikaru to follow, because also he's a very fascinating player. And about Alireza, he has bright future ahead of him. He played some amazing chess. Yes, he could not get the win against Magnus, but it's Magnus, and he will have many more chances competing against him. And someday he will, or some other youngsters will dominate the chess world. Maybe not in such a dominant fashion as Magnus has been doing for 10 plus years, but somebody will dominate the chess world, and Magnus will have to step aside, although that is yet to happen, because currently nobody is stepping aside. So I hope you enjoyed my brief recap of everything that happened. Stay tuned for the upcoming podcast episodes and recaps of the Olympiad. See you in the next one. Bye bye.